Presentation of the versatile thatch and the system. We thank you for your time and hope you enjoy the presentation.
Thatch panels. The standard versatile is indicated with the darker clips. These clips indicate that they are the standard panels which are used in many applications. The dense versatile is indicated with the white clips which differentiate the dense type to the standard. In general view they look the same, but if you weigh them you will find that they have a different mass. Along with that we have the standard versicone. This is a thatch cone which is used for apexes of all and many applications. The dense versatile and the standard versatile are totally flexible in all directions, and the backing allows that variation so that you can fit it on any and all roof structures. The cone has a fixing strap encompassed in the backing, and these fixing straps can be extended, as we'll show you now. The extension can be done simply by adding another one of the ties onto the existing one, and this can extend it to any length that you require to tie it down to the frame, irrespective of the frame's thickness. These are available as part of the kit or added on as an extra. The umbrella has a frame in steel which can be simply supplied in two formats. The first format is the one piece, which is normally used for local manufacture, or the four piece, which can be manufactured to go into containers and dispatched internationally. The frame of all shapes and sizes comes with the bracing, the clamps for the standard central pole, and all the necessary nuts and bolts. The indication of sizes will be shown once we are assembling. The holes that are supplied are different lengths for different applications, and all of them come with a hole drilled in the top for the pin that is part of the frame to fit in. These poles can be used either for entertainment fitment or the standalone fitment, and as specified can be supplied as such. We then have the thatch tiles. These are enough thatch tiles to do a standard 2.8 thatch umbrella. That would be the 18 tiles of standard versatile, along with one versicone and two dense versatiles. Those components, as seen there, would be the requirements for a standard 2.8 or 9-foot thatch umbrella. The thatch umbrella, we've shown you the components, and now we'll show you the standalone thatch umbrella assembly. Indicate in the frame the location of the central pin. The location of the central pin basically fits onto the pole at the whole end, and once we've done that we assemble the clamps. In position allows the frame almost to stand on its own. That's before you fit the braces. The nuts, bolts and clamps will now be assembled. Brace clamps provided on all frames, quadranted and one piece, where the bolts for the braces will fit at every quarter. So everything is at 90 degrees and it will be bolted to the central pole. A quarter of the bolts go through the hole in the brace on one side, and that is directly attached to the clamping area supplied by on all frames, and then the nut is loosely fitted, allowing for radius rotation. On the opposite side, we then take another nut and bolt along with the clamp, and we fit that directly to the end of the brace that we've just fitted. Again, in a similar fashion, with the clamp on the same side as the clamping device on the frame, allowing a nice, even and good looking attachment with this whole device. Light loosely with your hand. Take another brace and clamp, and we attach it directly opposite the one we've just fitted on the opposite side in the same method. We put the nut in place gently by hand, and then we attach the clamp on the opposite side of the same brace, remembering that these are opposing the clamps on both sides of the same frame, allowing it to go around the pole. Braces on their own with the nuts and bolts, and we place them at 90 degrees to the ones that we fitted, remembering those are opposite each other. We can now go 90 degrees and fit it to the frame, and again gently fasten by hand without over tightening. Is a repeat, but diagonally opposite the one you've just fitted, which then allows all four to be supported and clamped to the frame, and we are now about to assemble it to the pole. With all four braces, and these braces can be started to assemble around the pole using the two longer bolts provided, and assembling the braces around the pole. Once the two clamps surround the pole, we then place the bolt through the clamp, then through the brace and through the opposite side of the clamp, and gently fit the nut by hand. Don't over tighten. The opposite side would be exactly the same. With slight adjustment to allow for the nut and bolt to be attached. And the nut to be fitted gently by hand again. This is the stage before you fit it into the hole. This whole process can be then fitted into a standard hole, and these holes are of any dimension that you find that the customer requires, and that is determined by the height of the customer's requirements. Everybody would be different, and the whole dimension would specify what depth into the ground you would be needed to be fitted. Is on the pole, and the hole has been decided, or if you haven't decided, we will show you how the best way to make sure that the customer is satisfied. Get the final and correct height. The simplest way to do it is to fit one single tile, which we show how you do in a short while, and then check with the customer that that height is correct. If it's incorrect, adjust the hole, fit the pole in. You can concrete it at this stage to give you a stable base once the customer is satisfied. Then we go to the thatching. I'd like to introduce you to Laik, who will be giving us the demonstration of how to thatch. We on purpose have dropped the thatch umbrella slightly so that it would make it easier for him to assemble, You, on the other hand, might require some sort of base to stand on to work inside, and once that's in place you can work comfortably. Laik is tall enough to be able to do this directly from where he stands on the ground. So Laik, if you just show us the first tile, how you'd clip that on. The handling is quite simple. He'd grip it on the centerpiece, allowing edges on the other side. He'd then fit it on to the frame, come inside and gently clip on the clips that are provided onto the steel frame. There is no specific point of where you're required to fit the tile. It will basically work itself out. We then carry on to the next one. Take on the next tile and fit it again using the same method of handling, with the clips down, going to the opposite side, fitting the clips down onto the frame, gently squeezing it against the initial one and clipping it on in a very easy manner. Okay, so that gives you the second tile. This process is repeated with the third tile. Again, just butting the two edges together quite simply without any heavy pressure, just clipping it together, and away you go to the next one, which is just about giving you the full radius. Now the pole is fixed to the ground, but the clamp is loose, so the whole thing can be radiused around, and if you have an assistant to help you, they can stand in one point with all the tiles and hand it to you, remembering that all the nuts and bolts are still loosely attached. Here we go to the next one, and Laik fits it without much effort whatsoever, remembering just to butt them up against each other. Quite simply. And you find that the first row is starting to take shape until you get to the last one, where you would find an overlap of the last two tiles, or the two tiles that would end the first row. But the last one on the row, and we'll indicate to you how this is done. It's fitted in place with the one side simply placed in position as we've done previously. Clips on the ends must be at such a state that both of them would be able to be clipped onto the frame, and then we will trim both sides to finish off the first row. The tile, we use a standard knife, utility knife, and that cuts through. You can even use a standard kitchen knife or any sharp knife that would cut through the backing very easily. We've got this in place. We cut through both tiles. Once that's done, we then can fit the last clip on the one side, where the tile basically just butts against each other, and this is repeated on the other side where the tile is overlapped. The waste product can be given to the customer as an indication of how the product is manufactured, and a sample of sorts for his edification. So there you go. That's Laik's done the first row. Quite simple, quite easy. Setting the height, which you originally did with the first tile that you fitted, and thus giving us the height of the umbrella. We're now going to go on to the next row. Show us the method of fitting onto the second row. Again, the handling, quite simple. We just fit it on top, and then we go inside and clip exactly as we've done the first row. No specific pattern of placing unless you really feel that you want to set that up. That is up to you. And we continue on until we've then completed the second row. This can be a 1 or 2 man operation, where you can have an assistant passing on to you. The assistant then can pass it on to the outside, where in the inside the fitter can then just attach the clips. This will then speed up the process substantially, but again it can be a 1 or 2 man operation. Another way of handling and fitting by Bongi, who is assisting Laik. The row is just about complete. We have space for one more tile, which Bongi will pass on and can be fitted, cut, trimmed and finished in place, thus finishing the second row. Last bits and fit the tile as we are used to in the first and second row. We will just toss up the thatch for Laik to fit on the third row, and again you'll complete that third row as we've seen the first two. The handling method, and a gentle toss and up it goes. And again on the last row we just need to trim to suit, which Laik will do first now. Gently fit it into place. And tuft it to suit. At this stage we need to go to the dense tile, which is the white clips, and that goes onto the last row at the top before we go to the final apex, which we use the versicone. These two fit almost exactly the same as all the other rows, and they have to be trimmed to suit as exactly the same as all the other rows. Gentle toss, and this can be handed up if you wish, or you could even put it on from a step ladder. It's trimmed. There you have it again, the final ring, of which Laik will now take the top cone, handle it gently, take it and toss it into position. There we go, simple as that. Although practice helps. Once it's in place, the straps can be attached to the frame and tied up, and then pull tight to locate that. And then there we go, the whole thing is complete and the thatch umbrella is finished, standing in its place. The whole process taking no more than 40 minutes. That would be a one-man show. If there was more guys, it would take quicker. The bench and its components. It's the seats, the cross legs, the top, the box and the braces. These are the components that manufacture or assemble to be one bench. These are the nuts and bolts that would go along to suit the bench, along with the tools that are required to put this together. Start with the top being inverted onto a soft workable surface or a blanket of sorts, inverted and being ready for the assembly of the cross legs onto the top. And by matching up the bolt holes on the cross leg tops, through bolts fitted through the holes provided, and then bolts gently fit the bolt and nuts, the nuts and washers gently fitted and hand tightened in a similar manner. Tops have two studs protruding from the cross braces. These are for the support braces, which we'll show you how they're fitted later. Fitted again, where there will be 2 holes on either side, which will locate the box so that it stands up straight. Gently fit the 2 bolts on both sides, and the nut will be able to be fitted on the other side. Nut and washer fitted. We're waiting for the braces to be fitted on those studs as we're about to indicate. Shaped side will fit over the stud gently into place. There's a hole on the other side where the longer bolts that are provided, the longer bolts will be fitted. Okay, that comes through from the far end and goes through the bolts, the holes provided, with a nut and washer gently fitted on and tightened. Side is ready for the bolt and washer, the nut and washer, and then once that's in place, both sides and all these other components can be tightened in this position. The opposite side, with the nuts and bolts fitted to the hole section with the washer, and again just gently hand tighten again until everything is in place, and then tightened. The nuts and washers to the locating shaped area, and again gently put on by hand and then tightened to keep in place. The 13 spanner, and there's no need to over tighten. The structure, basically all needs to be done is kept in place. The nuts can be tightened at this stage to give the whole component or whole bench stability so that we can invert and fit the seats. At this stage we're down to about 15 minutes of total work time. And finally fastening all the legs and components in place. This specific square area that would correspond with the whole area at the bottom, and this is where the pole will come through to accept the thatch umbrella. It can be rolled over gently onto its feet, and then the seats can be fitted in this position. In the seat that would correspond with the upright, and those will match once the seat is in place, and there your bolt goes through. Bolts are fitted, bolts and nuts are fitted, again just by hand, so you're ready to tighten up once everything's in place. Opposite side bench seat can be brought and put in place. The bolts can be fitted, and then your bench is ready for your thatch umbrella. Once those are fitted, the bench is really complete, awaiting the fitment of the entertainer thatch umbrella. Picture of the bench ready for use, or the entertainer. The thatch umbrella along with the bench is called the entertainer. So the components of the entertainer, bench, thatch umbrella, all assembled in one piece. No base, doesn't go into the floor. The size is brought closer, and we then insert it into the hole that's provided gently without scratching the top, remembering that the hole that we need for the umbrella must face up, and the blank side must go through the pole hole into the base box. Through it and go down into the bottom box. You locate it in there. This can be quite a tight fit, just get it in nice and gently. Then once it's in place, the whole bench can be rotated onto its side, with the pole supporting the whole process from on the floor, and the pole just slightly off the bottom of the box, or you can put it flush to the bottom of the box. Pole is flush with the bottom of the box. We then can fit the coach screw or the hex nut screw that would go right through both the upper and the bottom, right through the pole in one shot. Nick will now show us the simplest way to fit it. Is a gentle tap. Once it's in place, it's then you take your spanner. In this instance it's a size 17 metric, which is fitted to this, and then the coach screw goes right through both the box, the pole, and the other side of the box to locate the pole in place. So that the pole is supported between the box and the top of the table, and go right through so that it locks everything in place in one action. Once it's in place, to the final, not to over tighten, just so that the head is flush with the wood. We then have the whole process of the pole and the bench in one piece. Bench is then rectified back onto its feet and is ready now for the fitting of the thatch frame, which Bongi is busy transporting in the simplest of methods. We find this really works simply. Just watch your fingers. Then can be fitted to the top of the pole. Again, the braces are in place, which have been fitted previously, so that it locates on the pin, and the braces and clamps are fitted to the pole. The clamp together with the longer bolt that is provided with the thatch frame, clamping the pole centrally between the two clamps, and the brace between the two clamps as well with the longer bolt. The opposite side, remembering, also has no clamp, which will be fitted between the two clamps. This then locates the frame in place for the thatching, which we have seen on the umbrella section of this video. We will start it and we will finish showing you the toss again of the versicone going on the top. Again, it's not necessary to be tight, so that the whole frame can be rotated and you can be helped by a man in a single point. I'll be assisting on this one just to show you the two-man operation and how quick it can be. Here we're talking about a 3/4 of an hour top end for two unskilled workers to assemble this, rotating it, placing it in place. The next one follows straight through, clipped in place by Laik, for the next one to follow straight after. So you can see the process is sped up substantially by having two people and going very quickly, the whole process speeding up. The view from another direction with the tile being handled to Laik and the fitment of the tile. Again, rotation of the umbrella if absolutely necessary, and once that's done, the man can be passing on the tile for assembly. Done and trimmed as seen, you can then continue on to the following rows until you get to the apex ring, which you can fit the dense vertiles. The support or the base that you could be using could be the bench, just to assist you for the height that is necessary, as long as you're wearing soft clothes, soft shoes that doesn't damage the surfaces. Okay, and the thatching is handed on very simply by Bongi, just a gentle toss. And then fit in place by Laik. Final tile of the penultimate row, again just fitted in place gently and trimmed where necessary. Clips now fitted, tossed gently so that it gets fitted to the apex row, creating the penultimate row that can be then taken towards the versicone, which will fit on top. Again, the frame being rotated to keep life a little simpler and easier and quicker. The process, once you've got two qualified chaps, can take a total of about 25 to 30 minutes. Simple, easy, quick, and extremely aesthetically pleasing. Very good in the wind. The wind does not allow it to hold the wind in place. It lets it through and then settles down. Bongi is going to top to Laik, who because of his tallness will just pop it onto the top. Again, practice helps, there's no doubt. If you have a problem with this, you can use a broomstick going through the thatch, holding the top cone or the versi cone in place, and then gently placing it in place, or you can use a step ladder that allows you to place it. Again, once that's done, the straps are put in place. And there you have it, the thatch umbrella, along with Laik, table mounted in the background, a gentle dust of all the dust that's accumulated, and the entertainer for your edification and enjoyment. Hopefully your customer satisfaction. All of these products available as an X-Stock item from Thatch Systems. We thank you for your time. We wish you a pleasant day and look forward to do business with you. Please do not hesitate to ask any questions. Thank you. I forgot, the last item is your container leaving the depot filled with all these entertainers for your clients. Thank you again.